voices today. Is the BJP right in accusing it of banning it in the first place? Let's lay out the flip-flops that have taken place. On the 11th of June 2011, the Ministry of Environment and Forests under the UPA banned the use of bulls as performing animals. Now, in April 2014, the UPA allows the use of the bull in Jallikattu by amending the list of animals. On 7th of May 2014, the Supreme Court banned Jallikattu, justifying the ruling of the Union Ministry. On the 31st of December 2015, we have seen how various leaders, including Shashi Tharoor, were quoted saying that the BJP is trying to score political points by reversing the Jallikattu ban. In December 2015, the ex-PM Manmohan Singh wrote to an NGO backing the Jallikattu ban. On the 7th of January 2016, the India government notification lifts a ban on Jallikattu during Pongal. In 2016 January, Congress's Jairam Ramesh says barbaric practice is BJP's bid to appease. In Jan 2017, the Congress manifesto supports the legalization of Jallikattu, and in 2019 January, Rahul visits Madurai to take part in Jallikattu event. Now that's as far as the reason that the BJP is trying to raise questions of the Congress is concerned. And it's not just Jallikattu. We have seen how in the past an ecosystem fiercely lobbying to cancel traditions and customs held reverentially by Hindus in the past and then forced to make U-turns. Let's remind you of several of these. The UPA deposed in the Supreme Court in 2007 that there's no proof of Ram's existence. The UPA later had to withdraw this affidavit. Facing a backlash, in fact, it was withdrawn to re-examine it. In October 2018, Rahul Gandhi was quoted saying men and women are equal, women should be allowed to enter. Now, this is as far as Sabrimala is concerned, and both sides have a valid position. Leave it to people to decide, is what the UP had said on the 11th of June 2011. Later, the Ministry of Environment and Forests had banned the use of bulls as performing animals. Rahul, in fact, visited Madurai to take part in the Jallikattu event as well in the year 2019 in January. Let's open this out and take it across to our guests who are joining us. With us is Uma Anandan, BJP councillor. Also with us is Nikhil Jain, who's a political analyst. Let me start with Nikhil Jain first. Nikhil, I've read out several of these facts that the BJP is referring to, and they're saying that this shows that in earlier regimes such as that of the UPA, practices, traditions and sports such as Jallikattu, which are being held today by the Supreme Court as a cultural heritage, were even banned, or at least they paved the way for its ban.
See, Madhav, in your initial narration of facts, you yourself said that in 2017 manifesto of the Congress wanted the legalization of Jallikattu. Rahul Gandhi, who at that point of time was the president of the Congress party, takes a part in a Jallikattu event, which is obviously a symbolic thing. It is obviously showing the support of the party for that particular tradition. So one thing that the BJP needs to understand is that there is a difference between opinions of leaders, individual leaders, and the opinions of parties. So, for example, I personally hold an individual view that anything, whether it is a tradition or not, should not cause suffering upon animals, whether it is Jallikattu, whether it is something else. But at the same time, if you put me in the government, if you put me as a judge, I will not try to ban Jallikattu for the simple reason that I may not personally agree with it, but as a political leader, as a political party, I would have to look.
Sir, I'm not talking about personal opinion. Specifically, we are talking about the government. I'm very glad you specified that what the duty of a person in government should be. Uma Anandan, just coming to you in a minute, because, you know, I'm reading out specifically what was done. In 11 June 2011, if the Ministry of Environment and Forests first bans the use of bulls and then allows the use of bull in Jallikattu by amending the list, you know, somewhere or the other, this U-turn itself between 2011 to 2014 shows that somewhere or the other, there was a gap in the policy. It's about the government that we're talking about, and whichever party was ruling the government.
I feel yes, this was a gap that they first tried to prevent animal cruelty by banning bulls as all performing animals. But the moment they realized that there was a political opposition, that people in the state of Tamil Nadu wanted Jallikattu to be practiced, they made an exemption for it. That is precisely the job of a political party, that you do what's right, but the moment you see that people on the ground, your citizens of the country, hold a different view, you act according to them.
Yeah, it took 3 years for that realization to dawn, sir. It took 3 years for that realization to dawn. But let me bring in Uma Anandan. She wants to respond to you. Yes, Uma Anandan.
You yourself showed from the first the flip-flops, and Mr. Nikhil Jain who talks about cruelty to animals and other things. He doesn't have the guts to talk about the sacrifices during the Muslim festival. He doesn't want to name that for fear of the outlash. So let him be honest. And as you said,
no, I'll be
Mr. Jairam Ramesh brought it by himself. The Supreme Court did not take it. When you spoke, I did not interfere. So you better keep quiet now when I am talking. Then next I would like to ask, the DMK was part of the UPA that time when Mr. Jairam Ramesh brought in the ban. Were they sleeping that time? They didn't object that time? And now they want to put sticker for this and say it is their victory, while it was the Narendra Modi government which brought, when Mr. O. Paneerselvam was the chief minister, to pass it in the Tamil Nadu assembly to say that Jallikattu is part of our culture, part of our tradition, and we are not wavering on that point at all. From the beginning, while the Congress, the UPA, Mr. Jairam Ramesh wanted to please the foreign funded NGOs like PETA and all, which are very, very strong in killing our tradition like the teddy elephant. Now the temple elephants, which are being taken and put in dangerous places.
Right.
What are they doing that? Again, the same PETA and all these foreign funded NGOs are doing that
Nikhil,
to destroy the Hindu culture and the Hindu tradition.
You know, I don't think it's fair to compare his actions with that of an NGO, but certainly the question...
They have scant respect for Hindu temples and traditions.
Mr. Jain, one second, let me just come here. Umanandan, you made your point. Let me put this question across to Nikhil. Nikhil, you know, it's not just about what the UPA government then did. Then after the ban happened, you know, Mr. Shashi Tharoor coming out to say that... Umanandan, please allow me to conduct this debate. I'm going to come to both of you. Let everybody have a chance to speak. Shashi Tharoor says then that the BJP is trying to score political points by reversing the Jallikattu ban. That's in December 2015, and the same month, the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh writes to an NGO backing the Jallikattu ban. Now, this is, of course, also something that, many would say is a position that has been articulated. Even after they reversed the ban in 2014, there were still leaders accusing the BJP of trying to politicize it. And therefore, the position of the Congress somewhere or the other, when we're talking in the context of today, when the decision has come in from the Supreme Court, it is in direct contradiction to that, Mr. Jain.
No, Madhav, the position of a political party has to be adjudged from its manifesto. And in its 2017 manifesto, the Congress is claiming for the legalization of Jallikattu. So far as individual leaders are concerned, whether it's former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh or whether it is Dr. Tharoor or Mr. Jairam Ramesh, all of them may have an individual view against it. Practice. And just to answer my co-panelist, ma'am, I have the complete courage to say that animals should not be slaughtered during Muslim festivals. Animals should not be slaughtered anywhere. I'm personally a vegetarian, but at the same time, I very well understand that that is my individual personal view. I cannot impose my individual personal view on the people. So if Muslims consider slaughtering animals as their essential practice, if I am in the parliament or in a state legislature, it is not my business banning that. If I am in the state legislature or in the court or in the parliament, I have no business banning Jallikattu, which is why there can be a distinction between the position that an individual takes and the position a government takes. So whatever statements we're talking about from Jairam Ramesh, Dr. Tharoor, Manmohan Singh, all of these are statements of individuals in their individual mindset.
No, sir, I just pointed out to you. No. There's a problem there, Mr. Jain. No, the problem is that when the government does it, what the individual says is secondary. I guess I did refer to it, Mr. Jain, but yes, when the government bans any particular practice, such as has happened in this particular case, when the Union Environment Ministry bans Jallikattu, then there is or any kind of bull taming sports, then that does become problematic. You cannot then just say that that's an individual opinion.
The Union Forest Ministry, Environment Ministry, they never banned Jallikattu. They banned the use of bulls as performing animals, and the moment
they should have thought out the decision.
Going to impact Jallikattu,
they should have thought out the decision.
They need explicit, specific exemption for it. That is the job of a government.
Yeah, and it took 3 years for them to realize that. It took them 3 years to realize that this will impact Jallikattu.
What do we argue?
Sir, maybe the political situation on the ground wasn't so strong. Had it been so strong,
animals. Is a bull as good as a lion? And
look at the farm bills. Look at the farm bills. Before the government of India could pass the farm bills and actually affect them, you had hundreds of thousands of farmers on the borders of Delhi, because that was a very important issue for the farmers. Maybe Jallikattu wasn't as important an issue to the people. Of course it was. I am nowhere denying that Jallikattu was important.
There was no protest between 2011 and 2014. There was no protest like farmers' protests, and therefore the government didn't know it's such an important issue.
I'm sorry?
You're saying there was no movement, there was no social movement. Let her educate us on
They
that.
are trying to run around in circles.
Perhaps. My friend from the BJP may be better versed with the
See, I would like to
political situation in
ask,
Tamil Nadu,
why
but
Mr.
the fact
Jairam
that
Ramesh,
there has
he
been something on the
equated a bull
statute book
with
for
a
3
tiger and
years,
a lion
and
to say
there
it's a
isn't a strong
performing
political
animal?
opposition to
He
it.
didn't have this basic knowledge.
It is an issue, but not an extremely important issue.
It's not an extremely important issue.
It may not have been. Madhav, this is
May not have been.
For 3 years, if it stood on
Okay.
the statute
No,
book,
no.
nobody
No,
appealed
no.
in the courts
Perhaps
against
they
it.
thought
Nobody came
Tamil
out
Nadu
Okay.
was not
Nikhil Jain.
Then I'm not quite sure
They
what the
took Tamil
government can do
Nadu for
about it.
granted.
Okay, Nikhil Jain and Uma Nandan, we'll have to leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. Clearly, of course, this is something that has been welcomed across political lines in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, I beg your pardon, and certainly, of course, all leaders who have come out, including the Chief Minister, to say that this will be celebrated with much fanfare in the next Pongal. I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. Moving on to another top focus story, the Supreme Court